Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are taking a look at a fun off-meta pick in the Open Ultra League. We are taking a look at MILOTIC, which has access to Dragon Tail, which got a huge buff in Season 8. So I did want to test it out and see how it performed in the Open Ultra League as a save swap. And I'll be honest, it went incredibly well. I went 19-6 on the day to climb all the way back up to 29.55. For the rest of the team, I decided to pair it with a Melmetal on the lead and a Dragon Breath Giratina as the closer. So without further ado, let's hop into the battles here. I believe I have 3.5 sets to show you guys, and let's take a look at MILOTIC in action. Picking up an amazing lead here right off the bat in Talonflame. We're able to force a shield with every rock slide, which is fantastic. We're going to force a shield, throw 2 fast moves, wait a turn, and then catch the flame charge onto MILOTIC. Now, MILOTIC is exceedingly bulky, so we're going to be able to survive that just fine, and they bring out an Umbreon. It's very good to see Umbreon here, and something I noticed that with the bulk of MILOTIC, you will oftentimes see an Umbreon counter swapped into it, just because they want to counter your bulky Pokemon with theirs, and that frees Giratina up from having to face it endgame. So we're in a pretty comfortable spot here. We definitely aren't going to try and go for a switch advantage here because all of our Pokemon in this team do exceedingly well against Talonflame, so switch advantage isn't particularly important. Rather that, I would just try and get this Umbreon as low as possible. We're going to let this go, and we can definitely just take our shield advantage. That is 100% fine. And now we come back in with Melmetal, and we're going to go right for the superpower so they aren't able to throw a move onto our Melmetal. We're able to take them out. They bring in the Talonflame, and we bring in our Giratina, and they're going to farm up to 3 just before they receive the energy for the 3rd. We are going to throw a Dragon Claw at them, which does do some solid damage, and they're going to bank that energy and switch into Cresselia. Now, this isn't quite as good of a matchup for the Dragon Breath variant of Giratina, but we still do have access to Shadow Sneak, so it's still not a bad matchup by any means. Moonblast, of course, will always hurt, so I'm going to count very carefully here, and I'm going to throw on CMP as they get to that second Moonblast, and I'm hoping I can force a CMP tie. We land the Dragon Claw, it's a CMP tie, and at this point, I can just let this go, and Melmetal will comfortably be able to close the match for me. And we're just going to farm up a ton of energy here, and we'll honestly be in a really comfortable position. We know that they have a Flame Charge banked on Talonflame as they aggressively swap in, but this is completely fine with us. We can shield up the Flame Charge, let 1 Incinerate through as we throw our Rock Slide, and then there's still 1 Incinerate away from another move, so we're able to throw 1 Thunder Shock, go for the Rock Slide to take them out, and now Cresselia sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. So again there, the power of MILOTIC, able to bait out the Umbreon and soft lose, put us in a really good position to succeed. Hopping the next match against a Berserker lead. Now this is definitely a problem spot for our team in Berserker. We're going to be shielding up the close combat, and they're going to save swap into a Shadow Snorlax, so a very cool pick. I'm going to throw these back-to-back superpowers here. Hopefully we can get a shield, which we do. That's huge. And now I'm going to go for the second superpower to do some chip damage. We've chipped it, and now we can bring in MILOTIC. And MILOTIC, just the bulk of it is incredible in this matchup. Even Body Slam really doesn't do a whole lot, which is fantastic. And we're going to go for the Surf right before they get to another Body Slam, just so we can preserve quite a bit of health on our MILOTIC. We're able to take them out. And honestly, Berserker is going to have a bit of a tough time here. Like they are resisting the Dragon Tails, which is good, but Surf really adds up on Berserker. It's not the tankiest, whereas we have bulk to spare in this matchup. Like if they go for a foul play, this doesn't even kill. Look at this. Foul play, we live that, we're fine. They switch in a Drift Blim, they're unable to Hex down, and we're able to get to another Surf. So things are looking good for us, and now we bring in the Melmetal. I'm a little worried they're going to bait me, so I decide to call the Icy Wind bait. Big mistake, they Shadow Ball me, things are getting a little rough. I am going to go for the Rock Slide here, and now it's going to be a race to see if we can beat them to the charge move. Come on! And we're able to beat them by a turn, so we are going to be able to throw this Rock Slide that is going to be taking them out. They'll come in with Berserker and Shadow Claw down. Now, I still have MILOTIC available in the back as a sack swap, so I am going to fully wait out the clock before I bring in the Dragon Breath Giratina. The nice thing is Giratina also has a ton of bulk. Our backline is exceedingly bulky, so we can absorb a foul play just fine. We don't have to use the shield quite yet. and we're able to get to the Dragon Claw, and Dragon Claw is going to be enough to take out the Berserker and to give us the win. So even in a not great matchup, still able to overcome and get the win. Alright, and picking up a pretty neutral lead in Cresselia, and they're going to save swap into Scizor. We don't have a clean response to a Scizor, so I am going to throw the superpower to get some chip damage before we bring in our Milotic. Unfortunately, the Dragon Tails are resisted here, but with this big of a health disparity, that's really not an issue, as we can comfortably tank another Night Slash, and we're just going to throw our Surf just before they get to a third Night Slash. Again, this is where the bulkiness of Milotic is very, very handy, and now if they don't shield, a Surf is going to take them out, and we are able to maintain switch advantage. They bring back in the Cresselia, and I'm actually going to overfarm by one Dragon Tail and go for the Surf. I'm hoping I can confuse them as to how much energy I have, and maybe I can get to a second one, and we're able to do so. They attempted to overfarm, but they weren't quite sure how much energy we had. We get off a second Surf, and it's a CMP tie. Oh, this is perfect. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. So we are going to wait our clock a little bit before we bring in Melmetal, but they have a Scrafty in the back. This is looking very difficult. We're going to get a shield with the superpower, and then we're going to bring in our Dragon Breath Giratina. Now, Dragon Breath Giratina does a lot better than the Shadow Claw variant here, which is nice. They go for the foul play right away, which makes quite a bit of sense. Now, we are able to hit for neutral with the Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw, but Scrafty is exceedingly bulky. I'm fully expecting them to bait here, because I still have 2 shields left, so I call it, and they actually go for the nuke. So an incredible decision by my opponent, recognizing that I was going to call the bait, going for the nuke, and now things are looking very, very tough for us, as we have 2 shields, but we only have a steel type left, and Scrafty loves just absolutely destroying steel types. We are going to have to expend our shields on power-up punches, which is really less than ideal. But my goal here is to just keep farming up energy, and they switch out into Cresselia. So we may have a chance here. They switched out of their boosted Scrafty. We are going to go for the Rock Slide, and they are going to be throwing what's probably a Moonblast. We can survive a Moonblast at this range, which is great, and now we just need to overfarm. We get an attack debuff as well, but we're able to farm up to 2 moves here. Rock Slide is going to be taking care of the Cresselia, and the Scrafty comes back in, and we are going to be able to launch this superpower, which takes care of the Scrafty and gives us the win as the timer counts down. So a very scary endgame, still able to escape with the win. Hopping to the next match here, we have Melmetal into Clefable. This is obviously a fantastic lead for us, as the main structure of the team is we have our core, which is Melmetal and Dragon Breath Giratina. Dragon Breath Giratina doesn't do well against fairies, so we have the Melmetal to help counter the fairies. So catching the fairy on the lead, absolutely phenomenal. We are just going to be able to launch these Rock Slides, and we're able to get to a third as they throw their move. This is perfect because we can force a shield here, which is honestly, I'm okay with shields down with this team because our back line is incredibly bulky. We are just going to farm up, and I don't really want to take any more charm damage. The charms are really starting to add up, so we are going to take out the Clefable, and we'll see what they have in back. They have a Swampert. I'm going to save swap into Milotic, and we're able to bait out a Berserker. And honestly, this is not the most comfortable matchup for Berserker, despite the fact that Dragon Tail is resisted. Milotic is so incredibly bulky, and Berserker is not the bulkiest. They go for the foul play. Look how little that does. Milotic's bulk is absolutely incredible. It's so nice. We're able to get off another Surf and force a shield in this matchup. That is absolutely huge. We are going to let this go again. Foul play does get us pretty low. And will they be able to farm down? They're not able to, and they're forced to throw and waste a bunch of energy. That is incredible for us. And now we should be in a pretty comfortable position. We bring in the Melmetal, they aggressively switch back in the Swampert, and now we bring out our Giratina. They go straight for the Earthquake. I was expecting a bait, so I opted not to shield, but now we are in a really comfortable position because we have shield advantage. We're able to land the Dragon Claw there. And at this point, even if they bait us, we should be able to get to the Dragon Claw before they reach the nuke move. So we call the bait. They did end up baiting that time, and now we're able to get to the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw takes them out. In comes Berserker, and we are just not able to get to a move, but we get the Thunder Shock through. So when they close combat here, That Thunder Shock registers, they die, and we are able to get the win. So far, winning a lot of games, a lot of questionable no-shields, but we are making it work. All right, a Alolan Muck on the lead. They save swap out into a Politoed. As you can see, I tried to catch there. Unfortunately, I failed to catch, so things are looking a little tough. I'm going to go for the Superpower to get some chip damage, and then I'm going to bring in MILOTIC. MILOTIC, again, does pretty well here, especially because a lot of safe swap Politoads in the Open Ultra League have Blizzard, so they're forced to throw strictly resisted moves. As you can see there, the Weather Ball, that's fantastic, and we're able to sneak a Dragon Tail through even better. So you can see the Dragon Tails are really adding up, even on something as bulky as Politoed. I am going to be going for the Surf here. Surf plus Dragon Tail takes them out, and we're able to maintain switch advantage. That is absolutely incredible. Now we'll have to see, do they bring back in the Alolan Muck, which they do, and now we're going straight for the Blizzard, trying to do maximum damage here. And we land the Blizzard, that does over half, and I'm honestly feeling pretty good about this game. I'm fine with letting this go, not too worried about that whatsoever. Dark Pulse takes us out, I can bring back in the Melmetal. They have a Shadow Swampert, and we have our Giratina altered. Now, this matchup would be a bit more comfortable if we did have Shadow Claw, but at this point, I'm still feeling pretty good. Again, ooh, this time the questionable no-shield actually pays off, surprisingly. For whatever reason this morning, I was in the mood to call a lot of baits. So as you can tell, I no-shielded a lot of moves. But in that situation, they baited, so it really worked out for us. We're farming up as much as we can. I pretty much have to shield this. They bait, and then they're just going to switch into the Muck, and we are going to counter swap into the Melmetal. They are going to be going for Dark Pulse here. Dark Pulse does not take us out, even though it does quite a bit. Unfortunately, that does end up being CMP, so I am going to no bubble it there. And doesn't quite KO. Can we farm down? And here, I'm letting myself get as low as possible. I stop attacking, and then I'm just going to charge the move, so I have exactly what I need in terms of energy. I'm on 1 HP, and I'm able to force a simultaneous KO, and since we still have the Giratina alive in the back, we're able to get the win. Hopping into the next match, and we're picking up an amazing lead versus a Talonflame. I am going to throw, as soon as I get the Rock Slide, this will definitely force a shield. Then I throw 2 Thunder Shocks, wait a turn, and then I'm going to swap into MILOTIC to catch the Flame Charge, and that does absolutely no damage to MILOTIC. The Talonflame stays in and banks a Flame Charge before they bring out their Umbreon, and we have a whole bunch of lag. You love to see that, but the good news is we've baited out the Umbreon, so our Giratina won't have to face it, and switch advantage won't be too important in this game for me, because both of my remaining 2 Pokemon after the MILOTIC go down, the Melmetal and the Giratina, both have really good matchups versus Talonflame. We're able to get off that Surf, which does some nice chunk damage, and we're able to get to another one. So we'll be applying a ton of pressure to this Umbreon, able to get it very, very low. Now, we actually do survive a foul play from here, which is fantastic. So they're forced to empty their energy. Again, the bulk of MILOTIC coming in clutch for us. And now I bring in the Melmetal. And are we able to farm down here? If we're able to farm down, we're going to be in an amazing spot. We take a move. Can we farm down? We're able to farm down. That's huge. They bring in Talonflame, and they, of course, have the Flame Charge stored, but we have a Rock Slide stored as well. So we're going to be able to trade Shield since it's a CMP tie, and I'll wait and see if they're staying in, which they do not. They have an Abomasnow. Oh, no. Oh, no. Abomasnow just gets absolutely sauced by these superpowers. Oh man, this team really does not have a Melmetal answer. Able to take them out. In comes the Talonflame, and now we bring in our Giratina, and there's just nothing this Talonflame can do at this point. The only move that they can do any real damage to us with is going to be their Brave Bird, which of course lowers their defense, so they end up conceding the match. Alright, hopping to the next one. Melmetal into Giratina. This is not the best lead for us, but they have Dragon Breath. The matchup versus Dragon Breath Tina is better than if it's Shadow Claw Tina, so that's not terrible for us. So here, I am okay with staying in for a little bit, but eventually I am going to save swap into MILOTIC to see what they have in the back, in case I need to bait out any kind of a Fairy type or a counter to the Giratina Altered in general. So we are going to go for the Rock Slide there, and we go for the catch, and we're able to get it, which is fantastic. We're able to catch a Shadow Sneak onto MILOTIC, and we're able to bait out another Umbreon. This is huge. Again, now our Giratina does not have to face the Umbreon. You absolutely love to see it. Now MILOTIC is putting in work with these Dragon Tails, and we're just farming up as much as possible and launching these Surfs at the Umbreon. Again, Umbreon is exceedingly bulky, so it's going to be pretty tough to take it out, but we can at least get some nice chip damage here. We're just going to keep farming up, and here I make a mistake. I should have gone for the Blizzard. That was a big mistake by me. I throw the Surf, and it's CMP, so I end up dying with a bunch of energy, which you really don't like to see, but I did want to leave this battle in just to show that, hey, everyone makes mistakes while battling. That was a pretty big mistake of mine. We are able to go for the superpower to take them out, which is nice. And they have a Talonflame in the back, so things are looking really good. This whole team loves to see Talonflame. All of the team members have positive matchups versus Talonflame, so we're able to get a shield advantage, and they're able to catch the Dragon Claw onto their Giratina, but that's not necessarily going to help them particularly, because we're just able to Dragon Breath down, in comes the Talonflame, and we shield nothing. Our loose con is we shield flame charges, so we shield nothing because there's no way that they were going to lower their defense that early when they're unable to reset that debuff. And we're just going to be able to launch this Dragon Claw, and at this point, this game is very much over. There's really not even a point in them continuing because, I mean, they're staying at it, but we are very intentionally not shielding the flame charges, and we're going to be able to take them out and get the win, and we end up having a 2-shield flex. You love to see it. All right. Hopping into the next match, we have Melmetal into Empoleon. Now, this is not a great lead for us, to be 100% honest. So I am going to farm up and go for the bait, really hoping I can get a shield here. We're going for the bait, and my opponent calls it. What a fantastic play. I try and switch into MILOTIC, but unfortunately I'm not able to do so, so we have to shield up the Hydro Cannon. This is really not what you want to see, and now they bring out a Gallade, so a very, very interesting pick for the Open Ultra League. My guess is this may have been a team from Premier that they brought into Open Ultra since there's no Premier, but yeah, Gallade unfortunately has very minimal play in the Open Ultra League, specifically because even against a Dragon Breath Giratina, it just gets absolutely destroyed. As they can shield that up, that's fine, but since their Leaf Blades do absolutely nothing, we can survive a Leaf Blade from this range, and a Shadow Sneak is going to be able to take them out. So even though they had a shield advantage going in, they still end up losing switch advantage. So things are looking pretty good for us here, and they decide to bring in a Venusaur. Now this could get a little tough, but we have a ton of energy on Melmetal, so I make the decision to align the Melmetal with the Venusaur and align the MILOTIC with the Empoleon. Melmetal does have a significantly better Venusaur matchup. We get the shield, which honestly I'm pretty okay with, and they over farm, so we're able to get to another Rock Slide. We're applying so much pressure here. And at this point, it's low enough where I can let this go because I can shield once and Dragon Tail down, and we should be in a pretty comfortable position to win this match. We're going to shield this up. If they don't switch, that Dragon Tail may be taking them out, so they do defer the Dragon Tail, which is a very nice play. But at this point, there's basically nothing they can do because we just farm all the way up to 2 Surfs, and we are going to be able to throw the first Surf onto the Empoleon and the second one onto the Venusaur. Again, the bulk of MILOTIC coming in handy here as we're able to throw this Surf, even though it's resistant. The Venusaur is low enough where a Surf will take them out, and we are going to be able to win the match. All right, hopping into the next one here. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. That was way too long. Blaziken, really rough lead, so we're going to safe swap into MILOTIC, and we bait out a Dragon Breath Giratina Altered. Now this, unfortunately, is a losing matchup for MILOTIC if they do shield the Blizzard, but I can get shield advantage, and shield advantage is absolutely huge. That's one thing I like about MILOTIC. It's very good at either soft losing or getting shield advantage, and we are able to get the shield advantage that we're looking for, which is fantastic. And now, unfortunately, we are going to go down, but we get off this last second Surf, which is really nice as that gets them very low. And now my plan is to overfarm a bunch with Melmetal and farm up very close to 100 energy. Melmetal really doesn't have to fear any of these charge moves. Shadow Sneak, really not going to do a whole lot. So we're just going to keep farming, and we are going to farm up to 100 energy and then go for the Rock Slide to take them out. And then we will have a neutral charge move that we can throw at Blaziken, and they're very unlikely to shield since they're already at a shield deficit. So we're able to get out the superpower. That does a nice amount of damage, and now we bring in our own Giratina, so we are in a pretty good spot. And we throw our Dragon Claw on CMP with the Brave Bird, so we shield that up, and now they have a tough choice. They either have to shield or die. And they just let it go down. All depends what they have in the back. It's a Venusaur, and they concede the match. So good game there to my opponent. Very cool Spice pick with the Blaziken. Tough lead for us, but we were able to overcome. All right, and this is an absolute mad lad right here. Running what I believe is an XL Fortress in the Open Ultra League. Holy crap. Whoever you are, take a bow. Bravo. Incredible Spice. We do have to watch for the Earthquake here, although they're highly likely to Mirror Shot bait. Rock Slides are hitting for neutral. This is almost assuredly a bait, but I shielded up anyway. And it is a bait, which is less than ideal. And there's a whole bunch of lag, and I'm going to switch, and we're able to catch the Earthquake onto MILOTIC, and MILOTIC absolutely tanks it, which is fantastic. And my opponent is staying in, so they may not have a good response to MILOTIC, which really works out for us. They're just going to go straight Mirror Shot. Unfortunately, that does lower our attack, but on the bright side, that does give us a little extra farm. We can easily survive another Mirror Shot, and we are going to be able to farm down and leave with a bunch of energy. So this MILOTIC is absolutely loaded, and they bring out an Obstagoon. Okay. Very happy to see this here, especially with our Melmetal alive. I don't think I'm going to get to the Blizzard, so I am just going to go for the Surf. But we get the shield. So we were able to trick them into thinking it was the Blizzard, which is very nice. And we have a ton of loaded energy on our Melmetal. So things are looking pretty good for us. We shielded the Cross Chop, and now we are going to go for the Superpower. I do want to watch and see if they do try and switch. So I'm going to wait, and we're going to go straight for the second Superpower here. And they didn't switch out. That does get them very low, and they have a Swampert in the back, and we have our Giratina. So things are looking very, very good for us. That Goon is still alive in the back, but it's at very low health, and my opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All right, hopping into the next match here against Pretty Lil Llama. Melmetal into Swampert. Terrible lead, but we have two great responses in the back, so we're going to save swap into our MILOTIC. And we go straight for the Surf. Hopefully this is a CMP tie. Even if they Earthquake us here, we can do a nice amount of damage in retaliation with the Surf, since it does hit for neutral. Go for the Surf. We get the shield. That's fantastic. And now they bring in a Gyarados. So very nice read by my opponent, recognizing that with a Melmetal on the field, Gyarados is basically useless, and just using it as a meat shield to soak up energy from MILOTIC. Very nice play by my opponent. We are going to bring in the Melmetal here, and Melmetal, we can pretty easily tank some moves, but my goal is to hopefully farm up. Oh, unfortunately not quite able to get there, so we're going to have to eat another move, and we are going to farm up here. I can't quite get to 2 because I was a little worried about residual energy, so we're going to throw the Rock Slide, and then they bring in the Swampert, and we're able to get to the Superpower. That's something I really like doing, especially if I lose switch. Over farming with Melmetal, doing chip damage, and then I can switch out. And now it's a battle of Giratinas, and we have Dragon Breath, so we are in a really, really good spot here. We're able to get the shield. As you can see, they are Shadow Claw, so they get to more charge moves, but we do a lot more damage with our fast move. We let the first one through. That's totally fine. They're able to get to another one. Again, they're going to significantly outpace us due to Shadow Claw. And we are going to overfarm here a bit extra and now go for the Dragon Claw. I don't believe this KOs. They should just barely live and get to a move, which is not the best, but we can commit the shield and then hopefully farm down. They switch in the Swampert and throw. This should just be a Hydro Cannon, which we do survive. Hydro Cannon, we live that, and this Dragon Claw is going to be enough to take them out. Dragon Claw takes them out, In comes the Giratina, and we're going to aggressively swap in the Melmetal, Thundershock them down, and get the win. So as you can see, this team kind of went on a bit of a rampage. I was having a ton of fun with it. Even with lost leads, I feel like this team has really good bulk and coverage in the back to help you come back from some very tough leads. I would say energy management is very, very important with this team. But if you're constantly like over farming, making sure that you get an energy or shield advantage, then this team can overcome a lot, which is very nice. A Cresselia on the lead is, of course, going to be pretty neutral. If they do have Future Sight, then I believe we do lose the zeros. But if they don't, then I believe then we're in a pretty good spot. Again, we're able to get an extra Thundershock, which is very nice. However, that Future Sight, not the nicest thing I've ever seen. So we're going to be going for the Rock Slide here. And I'm going to overfarm, and they actually go for a Moonblast, so very nice read there by my opponent. Unfortunately, I wasn't going to throw because I was thinking, oh, well, they're not at the Future Sight yet, but they went for the Moonblast, so very nice read by my opponent. We shield up, and they elect to take the shield advantage rather than switch. So this is not the best for me by any means, because I'm now down shields. They have a Shadow Swampert. I'm going to save swap into the Milotic. And now they're going to bring out a Registeel. The issue is Shadow Swampert with a shield advantage and energy advantage is absolutely deadly. I do believe it is stronger than the regular Swampert because its closing power, even against things that should typically beat it like Giratina, is incredible. They did bring in a Registeel versus the Milotic, and Milotic can hang pretty well in this matchup. As you can see, the Dragon Tails and Surfs are really adding up, which is nice. But that Swampert in the back, the Shadow Swampert, is loaded, and that's going to be exceedingly problematic for me. They intentionally let themselves get pretty low, which is a very smart play. They have a bunch of leftover energy. We're going to bring in the Melmetal. They bring out the Shadow Swampert, and I'm going to bring in the Giratina. And now we have a very difficult bait game. I shielded up. We correctly shield the Earthquake. That is very important. Downside here is they still have 2 shields. And even though our Dragon Breath really adds up, Earthquake from Shadow Swampert hits like a truck. Earthquake, huge damage there, and we're just not able to get to Dragon Claw. I believe this was just a Hydro Cannon. So it was just a Hydro Cannon there, and we're able to get off a Dragon Claw. But at this point, Registeel's in a pretty good position to close this match, so they can let this go. Now they're going to bring in the Registeel. I see the timer come up. I aggressively switch in my Melmetal. I'm thinking I can win off timer. I'll delay the timer, but there's 1 second left, and they get to a move. I thought I had them by the timer, so I aggressively swapped in to throw to burn the timer. And unfortunately, there was 1 second left on it, and they win by timeout. So we almost snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, and then we managed to somehow snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. All right, hopping into the next match. The Melmetal Mirror is always tough. We're able to land it, which is very nice. They didn't throw right away, so I'm going to CMP them on this one. We're going to throw the Superpower, and then I'm going to switch into Milotic because I'm expecting them to throw back-to-back. We switch into Milotic, and we're able to catch the Superpower. This is very nice. Again, the bulk of Milotic just absorbs that Superpower like it's nothing, and they're going to bring in a Gyarados. So again, another opponent recognizing that Gyarados has very limited play when a Melmetal's on the field, so choosing to bring it out into the Milotic. Now, Milotic can win this matchup if it lands the Blizzard, so we're full sending it. I'm not expecting them to shield, which they don't, and we're able to win switch advantage. They bring back in the Melmetal to farm down, and we're able to get to a Surf, and this will be applying a lot of pressure onto their Melmetal, so they do shield it up. I don't want to bring in my own Melmetal into a loaded Melmetal, so I am going to bring in my Giratina to soak up a whole bunch of damage. Rock Slide, that's fine, not worried about that. And they have a Dragon Breath Giratina of their own, so this opponent playing a very similar style of team to me, where they have the Melmetal Dragon Breath Tina core, although they were running Gyarados as their pivot rather than Milotic. And here we're able to make a nice catch of a Dragon Claw onto our Melmetal, and we are in the driver's seat of this match, as we are just going to launch these Rock Slides, and without any shields, this Dragon Breath Tina is really going to struggle to keep pace. We don't have to shield this. Again, Shadow Sneak is really non-threatening to a Melmetal, So we're just going to overfarm here just a little bit. We try and throw. Somehow they're able to switch in. My move doesn't trigger, and they're able to get a move off, which is less than ideal. But now we're just able to go for a superpower. Not quite sure what happened there. Daily reminder, Niantic, fix your game. And they bring back in the Giratina, and they concede the match. All right, hopping into the next match here into a Nidoqueen. This is a horrible lead for us. We are going to bring in our Milotic, and they are going to go straight for the Poison Fang before switching out. They go for the Poison Fang there, and they farm up just a little bit before they bring in an Umbreon. And unfortunately, since our defense is debuffed, we are definitely going to lose this matchup, and pretty hard at that. And they're running Dark Pulse, so a very interesting moveset on that Umbreon. We are going to be going for the Surf, but Surf is not really able to keep pace with the fact that our defense is debuffed, so their moves are doing extra damage to us. So we're just going to launch these Surfs, do as much damage as we can. They're attempting to farm down, it's tough to farm down a Milotic with Snarl, so they are forced to throw, which is very nice, and we're able to land our 3 Surfs. They go for the Dark Pulse, that's fine, and now we're going to bring in Melmetal. Can we commit to the farm down here? We will have to eat a ton of damage, but if we're able to overfarm it significantly, even though they are resisted, superpowers should add up versus the Nidoqueen. So again, we're going to let this go. We're going to trust in Giratina to take us to where we want to be. We're able to farm down, which is huge. All right, time to bring in the Nidoqueen, and we're going to be going for the superpower. This doesn't do a whole lot, but any damage adds up, and we're going for the second superpower, and this should hopefully be getting it below half health, which it does, and now we bring in the Giratina, and what's in the back? It's a Scrafty. So they are running a Nidoqueen Double Dark line in Ultra League with XL. So honestly, a pretty cool team composition there for sure. In this matchup, I always like to call the bait, and they always foul play, which is unfortunate, so we let the first one through, and now I'm going to be able to get off the Dragon Claw, which does get the shield. From here, I got burned last time by no shielding, so I'm like, you know what, this time I'm shielding it up, and now they bait, of course, and I'm like, come on, man. I just can't get my shields right today. That's unfortunate. We're farming up a bunch, and now we're gonna switch into Melmetal to catch the what should be the power-up punch bait, and they're only able to get one fast move off, which is really nice because now we can bring in the Giratina, farm down, and get to a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw does not take out Nidoqueen. It has a significant amount of bulk, but they shouldn't be able to get to 2 moves. So I shield this up in case it's the Earth Power, but even if it's a Poison Fang, they're not going to be able to get to 2 moves, and we're able to farm down and get the win. Another really tough lead, but this team is able to rally and get the win. All right, Galarian Stunfisk, not a lead that you want to see, and I included this battle in case people like HomeSlice. This team looks unbeatable. Well, it's very beatable, especially when you misplay. So we're going to bring in Milotic, and they bring out an XL Meganium. So things are really not looking good for us. I was hoping I could survive this Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant comes through, and we're just not able to get to the Blizzard. If you see XL Meganium, it is a very big core breaker for the Melmetal Milotic core. So that is definitely problematic. And here, my thinking is, I'll try and overfarm as much as possible, but Thundershocks do absolutely nothing to Meganium, so I am going to have to land a lot of Rock Slides to take them out. And here, going for another Rock Slide, but this again doesn't KO. Can I Thundershock down? I'm going to shield this up. It's going to be the Earthquake, and watch this incredible play by the opponent. They aggressively switch back in. They have banked the Earthquake on Stunfisk, and here I just get absolutely outplayed, and I concede the match. GG's to that battler. I got absolutely whooped. All right, Scrafty on the lead. This is a tough lead. I'm going to go for the superpower to force a shield. They're probably going to force a CMP tie with the power-up punch, but even though I've lowered my defense, I don't need to shield the power-up punch just yet. So we are going to let this go, and again, we're going to save swap into our Milotic, and we have a shield advantage, and they bring out an Abomasnow. So this is something I'm really happy to see here as opposed to on my Giratina. We're going to let this Energy Ball go. Again, the bulk of Milotic, we survived that, and we're going to be able to get to the Blizzard. And this is going to be doing substantial damage to the Abomasnow. It doesn't take them out, but it gets them very low. which is fantastic. And again, I'm not too worried about switch advantage. I would rather have shield and energy advantage with this team. And now, since we have an energy advantage, we're able to get to a superpower before they get to a move. Superpower does land, does a nice chunk of damage, and now we bring in our Giratina. They're only getting to one move, so they're just going to go for the foul play. That's fine. And they're staying in, so they could be weak in the back. We'll have to see what they have in the back. It's a Talonflame. They are weak in the back, so things are looking really, really good for us. We now have a massive energy lead, and this is just going to be insurmountable for my opponent to overcome. Again, I always no-shield the first move from Talonflame because of this health. I don't die to a Brave Bird, so even if they Brave Bird, I live. My lose con is shielding a Flame Charge and then getting hit by a boosted Brave Bird. So we are in the driver's seat of this match. We are going to be going for the Dragon Claw. We're able to switch into Melmetal to catch the move. And Flame Charge, we're able to catch it. And now we bring back in the Giratina and we're able to take them out and get the win. All right, hopping into the next match here against a fellow legend, Sirfetch'd. This is not a great lead for us. Again, I'm just going to be going straight for the superpower to try and do as much damage as possible before I safe swap into MILOTIC. Superpower lands, does a nice chunk of damage. We bring out MILOTIC, and they bring out an Alolan Muck. So here, I'm probably just going to go straight for the Blizzard because Blizzard is going to be doing substantial damage. They go for the Acid Spray, interestingly enough. As you can see, I really don't like using shields on MILOTIC because it can perform fairly well without them. We're able to get the shield, so again, we have achieved the much coveted shield advantage that I like with this team. They double Acid Spray, and that was a big mistake not going for the Dark Pulse because I'm able to get to a Surf, which is going to be getting them very low. So even though I have lost switch advantage, I have shield advantage, and now I'm going to be able to Thunder Shock down this Muck and get a huge energy lead, which is going to allow me to help flip this loss lead into a 1 game. We leave with almost 100 energy, which is massive, and if they bring that Sirfetch'd back in, it is not going to have a good day. They bring the Sirfetch'd back in, we're going straight for the superpower, and now we switch in the Giratina, and they have a Dragon Breath Charizard in the back, which is normally tough for Giratina, but with a 2-0 shield advantage, we are going to be able to comfortably take this match. We do want to shield because the Dragon Breaths, plus if we let a Dragon Claw through, will really add up, but we are going to be able to get to another Dragon Claw here, which is going to be more than likely taking care of this Charizard, and then all they have left is Sirfetch'd in the back. We can safely let this go. Just a Night Slash, we live that, and at this point, I can shield this up because the Dragon Breath went through, so they are going to die after they receive the energy. So all in all, I really enjoyed using this team. I was just using MILOTIC just to be like, hey, I'll just run a fun off-meta pick. But I went up almost 200 points with this team. I believe at day's end, I finished at 2955. So I do think that this is a team that can do quite a bit of work. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.